Liz and welcome to another Under the Microscope and to Lounge Lab. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different because we're going to be tricking your senses and showing you how to trick other people's senses as well, which is lots of fun. We're going to be using an apple and an onion to do this. Now, the sense that we're going to be tricking today is your sense of taste. Pretty interesting actually, because your sense of taste is made up of 75% smell. So whatever you're smelling is contributing to what you're tasting. Now, when you smell something, the actual smell comes from tiny little bits in the air called odour molecules. And when you breathe in, you draw them up through your nose, they get warmed up a little bit as they move up your nose, and they keep going until they get to a little patch at the back of your nose that's covered in mucus. It's very slimy, slippy, pretty disgusting really. When those molecules meet that, they'll slip right the way through until they meet a receptor. Now this has got a particular shape, and the odour molecule, like the odour molecule for apples, let's say, have a particular shape as well. Now if they meet and link up perfectly, you will smell that smell. If they don't, you won't smell it. Now as human beings, we've got a pretty amazing capacity to smell thousands of smells, but other creatures can smell different ones to us because they have different receptors and they link up differently. So pretty interesting stuff. Now your sense of taste, which obviously you have to talk about if you're going to be tricking it. Your sense of taste comes from your tongue, obviously, because that is the organ for taste. And you have thousands and thousands of taste buds all over your tongue. Now you may have heard that there are different places on your tongue where you would taste different tastes better, so salty, sweet, sour, things like that. Scientists now think though that is not true anymore. So even though that was probably what you learnt in school, it was what I learned when I was in school, new discoveries have been made and they've found out that that is actually not the case, and that you have in your taste buds, you have receptors for different tastes like salty, sweet, sour, and so on, and they're really evenly spaced all over your tongue. There's no particular place where you'd have more of one than the other. Interesting stuff. So let's get back to the experiment then, because what we're actually going to be doing is I'm going to be smelling a piece of apple, or I'm going to be tasting a piece of onion. Now what's going to happen is, because I'm smelling the apple, I'm actually going to taste apple even though I'm eating onion. Now I know that sounds like it would never work in a million years because onions are really strong flavours, but it does, and it works because your sense of taste is made up of 75% smell. Because you're smelling something quite strong like the smell of apple, it does actually taste much more like apple than onion. So let's have a little try of this then. So I'm going to smell this apple. It smells pretty good. I like it. It smells lovely. So I'm going to keep smelling this as I eat a piece of onion, which is very, very strong. There we go, I had to finish. Mother always told me never to talk with my mouth full. You actually taste apple, which is really strange. A very strange experience because the texture is very slightly different with an onion than an apple, but it's apple that you taste. Pretty good trick. If you don't believe me that it works, try it yourself, and I'll see you next time.